I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, good morning, everyone. We're happy to have you here, and it's a nice, bright, sunny day in Dickinson County. Our first order of business is the Fair Board annual update. Is there anyone here for the Fair Board?
I do not see, oh, no, I was gonna say, I don't see Sue. You wanna do rides first?
I think we can do that. Ms. Voss, if you would enlighten us.
Morning.
Good.
Did you guys receive your packets? Otherwise, I have information right here.
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
You have them? Okay, great. Any questions off the bat right away from that? Seeing it? Otherwise, thank you for the opportunity to be here this morning. Gosh, this is becoming an annual thing for me. I hate to think how it's been on 14 years already, I guess, that this has become part of my yearly experience. Rides is really grateful for the previous funds that you have provided, and we will continue to seek to provide the best possible service to the residents with your continued support. Your funds empower Rides to be a full service demand response service to the general public, including those with disabilities. Rides publication or transportation impacts the well-being of the community in so many aspects. Research has proven that time and time again, communities with public transit thrive. And in addition to creating thriving communities, public transportation connects people to places and opportunities. We connect people to school, to work, to doctor's appointments. Public transportation offers mobility to the community, and that translates into freedom. Empowering individuals to feel valued and become active members of their community, whether their mobility is limited by disability, health condition, financial constraints, age, or numerous other reasons. Rides provides them the access to travel as desired and as needed. The ripple effect of that is that the community as a whole is better. Rides provides access. Ride services are the link between individuals and employment, shopping, mental health services, physical, medical, and the ability to expand their socialization. Globally, transit systems reduce the community's carbon footprint, and they increase road safety with our professional drivers on a daily basis. We are, as you see in your packet, requesting funding again for this next year. Couple things that I'd like to draw your attention to within that is your sheet with the list of trips and rides on it. Does it have that? This is the one I'm referring to. Okay, great. The first number on there is complimentary trips. And by that, I mean trips that we did without a fee. Those primarily the largest factor in that number of 17,000 is the transportation we do from the Okoboji school system and the Spirit Lake school system to the Bedell Y after school. We fought hard to get that from the state because to them that becomes a charter. What we have proven is that children are riding that bus from the schools to the Y, but not necessarily going to the Y. Thus, it's become general public transportation, which is wonderful. We've had adults ride it. We'll have a dozen kids get off the bus and walk home. That reduces the stress on the school bus systems, reduces their costs, and helps get kids and promote a healthy lifestyle. So we're really thrilled to be able to do that and continue to do that within the school systems. Unfortunately, this summer we were unable to do the park trips for the concerts. To do that at no cost for us became unbalanced. It costs too much for us to do it without charging a fee. And if we charge a fee, then it becomes a charter and we can't do it. So we've unfortunately in our financial situation and our pending years are really going to have to make some choices on what we can do and what we can't do in order to continue to provide the best service. I'll be very honest with you. We are looking at operating in a deficit year moving forward, and we are in all of our counties, not just Dickinson, but we are in all of our counties. So we're looking at how do we continue to provide the best service within the funds that were granted. And so for that, we're very grateful for your support that you have given and look forward to your continued support. for us so that we can continue to do that. Not just for those with disabilities, but for the general public, and continue to grow the health of the communities and the counties overall. Are there any questions you may have that I can attempt to answer?
Can you explain to the board why we're having financial difficulty
Do you mean through federal funding or changes in
wherever?
the whole thing? All right.
All
Oh, that's a long question. How much time do we have? That's a couple faceted answer. Part of it is when the mental health care reform changed, what was our bread and butter or the largest transportation we did was individuals to and from work activity force centers and group homes. That funding shifted to the facilities themselves. Thus, we lost a really large chunk of what we did. And then we went through COVID and we've just never really regrouped from that. And the federal funding has reduced. The other thing that's really, really impacting us right now and is completely out of our hands, unfortunately, is as you're aware, the state has broker systems for individuals with disabilities. And we're down to essentially one broker in the state of Iowa, which is MTM. They acquired Access to Care, which is essentially the broker for those insurance companies. And we just are not receiving the trips from them that we had at all. We went to bat. We've had numerous conversations. All we really want to do is cover our costs. And in their eyes, our per mile rate is too high. It's basically just covering our costs. So what's happening is very frustrating, and this is happening all over the state. I visited with a gal from Hayward who normally had used us. She requested us. Under the new system, public transit no longer has the right of request. So it used to be that individuals that were on a broker or through MTM or Access to Care could request the public transit they wanted. They can no longer do that. Now the insurance company chooses who they want to do it, and they literally just search for the shortest or for the lowest rate. So we're having transportation companies from Fort Dodge for this particular woman drive all the way to Hayward and take her from her home in Hayward to the hospital in Hayward and back. I don't understand how that's efficient when we have transit systems within 20 miles of there that could do that. But they see our dollar rate, and essentially that's what their system looks for, is the cheapest rate, and they plug a driver in. And so what used to be our Medicaid funding, which was a very large piece of what we did, has all but dried up for us. I would say on an average, prior to all this, we would do 10 to 12 and sometimes as much as many as 15 special trips a day. If we have 5 a week now, we're lucky. That's how drastic the change has become. Does that answer, Bill? It's pretty specific.
People to hear that.
Thank
I mean,
you.
I've heard it, but
Right.
my explanation
Right.
isn't nearly as succinct as yours.
Right. Yeah, and we're grateful for Bill's participation at the board, and Steve's been attending, so thank you for that. Thank you for your support and interest in rides. Yeah, I think we're in for some hard changes. You know, if we can't get to where we can meet or come closer to our expenses versus our revenue, you know, the hard truth is we'll end up looking at some service cuts, reduction in hours. You know, how do we do that? How do we stay in balance? We can't continue to, as I did in college, had to learn the hard way that you can write checks without money in the bank. It doesn't work that way. So we're gonna have to make some changes. Anything else I can answer for you?
What are you determining what being cut and what's not being, what's the priority list there?
Oh, you know, I wish I could answer that for you, Levi. It's really just gonna be a matter of, you know, where are we gonna bleed the least? How do we save the most and still provide the best service? You know, there'll be a little bit of everything, a little bit of, you know, how busy are we already in that area? You know, can we condense? Can we combine? Can we drop down to 3 days a week? You know, all of those things are right now on the whiteboard being discussed. I think, you know, Bill will find out and be a part of our meeting in January. It's going to be some pretty hard reality on what we're looking at. You know, our deficit just continues to increase each month.
For you to continue to provide the same services that you're doing now,
Right.
what amount of money do you need? I mean, that's a serious
from
question
each
because you're gonna
No,
start cutting
no.
things. And the trend I'm seeing, and I've heard this even last year, is the trend of your availability to help us in the county is going farther and farther away. So what can we do? Or maybe not even us. It might have to be a higher level than us. I guess I'm just wondering a number that you guys would be at. How serious is it for you?
Gravely serious. And I wish I'm gonna leave that number question to Hugh and I'll have him reach back out to you with that. I know right now we're operating in every city and every county in deficit and the state and federal money is as well dropping.
I understand that.
And so, I feel guilty even standing up in your ass here because everybody that stands up and visits with you guys is in the same boat we are. Funds are reducing, you guys' funds are, locked with the property taxes, et cetera. It's getting harder for you. So I don't envy the spot you're in at all. And I'm not necessarily crazy about the spot we're in either. It's just gonna be a matter of trying to be the best stewards of the money we have and serve, the most we possibly can within that.
I think my biggest concern are the people that are gonna be affected by what's happening. That's
Right.
my concern.
Right, mine too. And, I think what I find the most frustrating about that is most of the individuals that will be impacted have not had or have the ability to have a say in what's happening,
Exactly.
right? It's going to impact them and they don't even understand why.
Yeah.
So, thank you for your questions. I'm not sure that I made anything clearer than mud for you, but,
I think the Levi's question, the last thing we would cut would be our dialysis run.
yes, dialysis is a lifeline, absolutely. Yeah, and dialysis is one of those things that, to be honest, we often run at a loss just because if we did that at the full cost, it would become cost prohibitive for people in a hurry. And that's a lifeline. They just have to get there. So we will generally do whatever we can to figure that out. To make that transportation doable.
As a working parent, I know that I appreciate their services. My daughter has dance at 4:15 on Mondays, and when I work until 4:30, I can't get to her.
Right.
Especially when she's in Milford, so that service of picking them up at school and taking them to dance is
Big deal.
amazing.
It's a big deal.
It is.
It is. It is. And I'm thrilled that if the state ever comes and really says, are you sure this is public transit? I could say, yes, it is, because we have documented that other people, then the kids going to the Y are going, which is great. And it's a great partnership for the Y. We're thrilled to have their partnership, thrilled to have the partnership with the schools, and be able to help both communities. Absolutely.
Having any driver shortage issues in our area?
To be really transparent with that answer, I'm about one driver short of a problem in the Links area. We have 3 out under surgery right now, which is not normal for us, but we've had a hammer toe, a knee surgery, and rotator cuff surgery with 3 of our drivers. So we're piecing it together right now, knock on wood, they'll all be back healthy in the next coming weeks and we'll be okay. Our biggest driver shortage is in our western counties. We are in, we're literally right now, maybe looking at having to reduce some service in Sioux County, which is heartbreaking because it's exceedingly busy. And we do school transportation in Sioux County as well. But we hired a guy, he made it about a month and said it wasn't for him, which I would rather have him do than stay and not provide good service. But we're really short in our western county. So if you know anybody in the Sioux Center, Sheldon, Orange City area, have them call me. Thank you, Steve, for the question, though, yeah. I think, the Lakes area probably has the strongest group of drivers, and I would attribute that to the building here in Spirit Lake. When they're downtime or they eat lunch, they all sit together, and so it's formed a really good team here in Spirit Lake for the Lakes area.
Anything else for Cindy? Any questions from the crowd? Okay.
Well, I thank you very much for your time, and I'll see you in a year, I guess. But I'll have Hugh reach out to you with what he
Appreciate that,
thinks is
Cindy.
kind of an
Thanks.
actual number for you. You bet.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Have a wonderful holiday.
You as well.
You too.
Sue thought that she was meeting next week, so she will not be here today and she'll be on for next week for the fair board. She's in the middle of a funeral.
Get one shot,
Well, she's in the middle of a funeral right now, so.
as long as
That's
it's not
the-
hers, that's no excuse. Okay, next up, we have a discussion action regarding extension agreement between the city of Spirit Lake and Dickinson County and the Spirit Lake school system. Your Honor. You're up.
If it's okay, I know I'd sent a letter. That
Yes.
didn't have much in terms of numbers or details. So if you don't mind about 3 to 4 minutes, maybe that, when I say that, I mean 6, but I could give you a little context for that. Historically and current as to why, in this particular case, the city and the developer asking for an extension. Some of you aren't going to know, some of you will know. The pattern of urban renewal and TIF in the city of Spirit Lake, going back 20 to 25 years, was typically city borrowing money, city putting in infrastructure. School and county, I don't think there was a time during that entire process, the school or the county, the school or the county didn't approve an appropriate TIF extension, whether it was for 15 years, some of those TIF areas were 20. We'll allow that at the time. It worked. In hindsight, we have housing in all of those areas. You pick any area south of here that's developed, that's how it happened. However, in the process, you have a municipality taking on all the risk. You have a municipality taking on all the debt. And at some point, the municipality can't keep doing that. And so housing occurred. I don't think it's any secret that 10 to 12 to 15 years ago, city finances were strained. And significantly so, and I would say that that was probably one of the main reasons that they were. This particular area was first platted 24 years ago. So it sat idle for the last 24 years, hasn't been developed. Couple of half-hearted tries at making it go. But that's where it sits. So, phase 3, I think you remember, was done 2015, 16 timeframe. I could be a little more recent in terms of the date. It might have been more like 14, 15. But the rest of it hasn't built out. I've been waiting for somebody to buy the property. It takes a willing buyer and a willing seller and all the things that go into market. In the meantime, the city and the county have divided pennies and property tax for 24 years on that property. And until this opportunity came along, I'd say it's fair to say it was destined to keep going nowhere. Not attributable to me, but since I started about 12 years ago, our pattern has been to use 10-year TIFs because the law allows us to have them without question. We haven't asked for any extensions. We haven't felt that any projects needed extensions, and we've just made that, some of you are aware, that's the way we've done business with all of our developments where it's been available for the last dozen years. It wasn't to not put a strain on anybody, but it was because economic conditions were such that it wasn't necessary to ask for more. So why ask? And why ask unnecessarily? And so we thought that was the best policy to pursue, and that's what we've done. We do have an area, Point of Pines is now getting finished off again. We're going back 20 years when that got started. More recently, a phase got finished off, but again, sitting idle, waiting for something to happen. That one is not urban renewal. Unfortunately, that was an urban renewal area 20 some years ago. And TIF draw was taken on property taxes that were nothing because it hadn't developed. And unfortunately, once it's been an urban renewal area and something's been drawn, it can't be done again. So for whatever reason, all those years ago, that area was left in an urban renewal area. And so the city has borrowed a couple $1 million and we're putting in the infrastructure in the streets and making that one go. Because that's the only way it's going to happen. With the price of land, with the price of material, anything related to housing, including interest rates. These things just aren't going to happen unless public infrastructure is subsidized in some form. And we use the only tool we have. We could use abatement, we can use TIF and urban renewal. And as you know, those are mutually exclusive. So we choose to use urban renewal because it makes the most sense over time. This project is for 55 single-family homes, slab on grade. So pretty conservative in terms of size, and whatever the price point is, it will be, but it'll be of the most conservative price point you can have with what somebody would consider to be a new home in today's world. The developer, Neil Slater, his company, developed Maple Meadows just a few years ago. So if you want an idea of kind of how those homes are going to look, you can look to that. And frankly, if you want an idea of a successful development, you can look to that. Whether it's in terms of drainage, in terms of construction, in terms of timeliness. That was also a TIF rebate situation. And that one was able to be accomplished in 10 years, but in that instance, the developer was also able to get IEDA assistance, which was needed. And absent that, I'm not sure what would have happened with the project or if it would have gone forward. So this project will add, and I am literally being very conservative, approximately $20 million minimum, likely a lot more to the property tax base. And once that's added, it's added forever, as you all understand. It's going to take place in phases. The final phase of infrastructure, 3 phases, should be completed by 2029. So it's going to take time. The developer, it's not one of these build infrastructure, just sell lots developments. This developer agreement and arrangement comes with the developer providing the houses. And so that's the period of time needed to get that done. And with the developer providing houses in this development, that provides a little more hedge, I guess you would call it, in terms of what one would call in this market affordable housing. Because it is going to be built according to the same pattern, according to the same style, and fairly conservative in terms of construction. The cost of infrastructure is estimated at $2,360,809. Street, water, and sewer. Fortunately for this project, to facilitate sewer for phases 1, 2, and 3, there's already existing sewer main running from phase 3 out and north out of the development. So at least we're talking almost 750, 800,000 or more that the developer didn't have to spend because it's already there. That's a good thing. But the costs are still pretty significant. When I say it's capped and estimated at 2.3, as you know, with urban renewal and the developer agreement provides whatever TIF rebate the developer will get from future property taxes is limited to the lesser of that estimate for the infrastructure, the actual cost. So if it comes in less, that means the draw on future property taxes is less. Or the time limit running out, whether it's 10 years or more. So if it was 10 or 12 or 15, whatever it was, and $2.36 million hadn't been achieved, that's still it. If something is achieved at a lower cost or sooner than whatever the time frame is, then the TIF draw ends. And I think sometimes there's a misconception that if you have a 10-year, 15-year TIF draw, that they just keep drawing property taxes. The answer is no. They draw until they've reached whatever the limit is. But there is a cap, whether it's time or what the current estimate is. Because the developer is constructing the infrastructure, that means the developer has taken on that risk. And the factors in play, in our opinion, in supporting the request for an extra 5 years are several. One of the things that comes into to play with TIF is that off the top, because it's not low, there's a difference between low and moderate income housing and low income housing, but functionally they're about the same thing. And it's something you just can't build profitably. But the law requires, because that's not a component, a certain amount comes off the top for LMI that the city has to set aside in the fund, which we do, which we will use for future lower and moderate income housing projects should they arise. And we'd love to see one arise because we've got some money there to spend, and this will generate more. One of the issues is now in our county, that number's up to 39.9%. It used to hover around 2/3. Now it's right about 40%. And so now there's more money not available to the developer, which is significant. Compared with the last 12 years, interest rates are higher, and there's no escaping that in terms of construction. Price of land is higher. Materials prices since 2020, 2021, everybody knows are a lot higher. Costs of construction are higher. You can't build a house and sell it for the same price you used to sell it and make a profit. Basically what an additional 5 years does is create an opportunity for the developer to get back the costs of the public infrastructure, which is the whole point. Whether it's 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, the point is to get the public infrastructure costs back to the developer, however long it takes. And if it's done sooner, it's done sooner. Beyond that, I'm not sure what else I could add. Risk to us, you could say there's none, but there is. Let's say we come up on 10 years, and for some reason, because of costs in the next several years, the developers $500,000 yet to be recouped or can't be recouped on infrastructure costs. Take $500,000, which is entirely possible that he's not going to be able to get covered with a 10-year TIF. What happens if that's not covered? Well, you just added about $100,000 to the cost of every house that he's selling. And so if you're interested in whether it's low income, moderate income, affordable housing, it's a moving target. Extending the opportunity for that rebate also extends the opportunity for the housing it provides to be more affordable in the long run. Obviously, the property tax benefits to the county and the city are obvious. And again, once realized, are permanent. Beyond that, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have, but I think that pretty well sums it up.
What would the average cost of a house be in this development?
I would, since he's here, and if you want him to come up and answer, or I could just defer to Neil on that, because he probably has the most ready answer at this time for that.
Hey, sir, if you'd like to.
Yeah, you want me to come up there or stand here? Or?
Why don't you come up to the microphone? Make
Okay.
sure we can all hear, please.
If you need me back, I'll come back.
Yes, you stay there.
Oh, all right.
Stay there.
So cost with land, we sit at about $300,000. That's about where we sit at on cost to build now. So if you try to build these houses individually, the reason I can keep costs down a little bit, about 5 to 10%, is because I can buy in bulk. Where if you try to build the houses individually, line up all your subs individually, you're going to be at about a $330 to $340 cost factor. And so by us buying all of our materials in bulk, plumbers know they're going to land on 50 houses. The electricians know they're going to land on 50 houses. They all cut a little bit price down so we can keep it down to that 300, and that's without interest. You know what I mean? And so that's about our true cost on it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When does the clock start on when they can draw the money? If it's 10 years, does it start?
So
The
the clock starts for each phase. So each phase would have its own TIF horizon. And the clock starts when the developer requests that it start. And so it's kind of I think he's got 1 or 2 years within each phase to trigger maybe 2. And that's really a financial decision to be made by the developer in terms of how many houses are built, how many are yet to build, and when do you want the draw to start, because you're kind of playing a bit of a guessing game in terms of maximizing your property tax draw. So typically, whether it's 2 years or 3 years, we've seen developers ask almost immediately to get that started. But in the end, the developer has a period of time to make that call. And again, that call kind of depends on within the time frame how many houses have been constructed to make sure it's worth drawing. But once it's started, it starts. And doesn't stop until those maximums are reached. And so to be clear, when I talk about a total, that's a total cap for each phase. Right? There's a number. So that 2.36 is the total. Phase 1 is right about 800,000. Phase 2 is 877, and phase 3 is about 685. That's
Very good.
without giving you the rest of the digits.
So
Any other questions, board?
the typical is 10 years, and then by adding 5 years, you're just keeping the cost of each home down. Is that how I understood?
In effect, that's exactly what would happen if 10 years wasn't enough. Yes, it's going to cause the average cost of homes to go up, because the developer's not going to be able to recruit the same amount of the public infrastructure refund. So yes. And again, if it's reached in 9, it's reached in 9. If it's reached in 11, it's reached in 11. If it's reached in 15 and he hasn't covered 2.36 million, that's on him. And we wouldn't be here unless we thought in support of the developer's notions that at this point in time and the way things have gone in the market the last 2-3 years, there's quite a bit of risk out there that the developer is taking on, which is the reason for asking for the opportunity to recoup that for a little longer. Yes.
Is the TIF money advanced pre-construction or after each phase is completed?
Post.
Post.
So there's in each phase, but again, I want to be careful. In each phase, there's a minimum number of homes that have to be constructed before he could even think to ask.
Yep.
But again, the point is with the rebate and the cap and the limited amount of time, it does keep the pressure on the developer to keep building to maximize that, where I think you would all agree with some of the developments in the past within the city. We've got developments that were started 20 years ago. I could still find a vacant lot or two. And that won't be the case here. And it's not set up to be that way. And particularly with some of our commercial developments, there was too much too soon. And you kind of flood the market in essence, instead of creating the ideal situation for construction and competition.
So Greg, are the
Yes.
phases split equally? In other words, if there's 55 homes to be built, would phase 1 be roughly 18 homes?
Phase 1, maybe 15 or 16. 19, sorry.
19 on the first phase.
So there's the phases are like half the road and a cul-de-sac. And
It's 19, 20, and then 16.
there you go. So pretty much, yeah, sorry,
No, that makes sense. Thanks.
I'm not good at deferring. Just kidding.
No, we know.
Now, just to be clear,
I'm not here to guess, I apologize.
the property taxes it's now bringing in are frozen and will continue to come in.
The value, that's same effect. They're not, the taxes themselves aren't frozen, but the base value is frozen.
Okay,
So if for some reason the tax levy went up, you would still get more money on the base.
right.
It's only the increment, which is the increase in the taxable value and the draw off of that would be taken. But having said that, the whole reason for incentivizing this in the first place is we're sitting there with ag land that has been taxed at virtually nothing for 20 years, and it's just going to waste in terms of our economic situation for the city and the county. And, you know, I'll put the plug in, which we all know, housing market's been something else. Our population, as you know, in our county and in the city of Spirit Lake is growing like nowhere else, almost in the state of Iowa. And we hear it all the time. You hear it all the time from manufacturers, the larger ones that we have here that we want to keep. Where are people going to live? And one way or the other, if they aren't living in this house, somebody's going to buy this house and somebody will move into the house they bought and so forth. But it at least gives us an opportunity to be as responsive as we can be to things like that, even though the larger markets tend to control that more than we can at our level.
And will there be jobs for all these people?
Seems to be.
Yeah,
Business, we've got more, and I appreciate you bringing that up, and I probably want to hear more from the corridor than you do from me on that subject, but we had a presentation from the corridor a month or so ago, and the employment statistics around here are growing and extremely positive. So it's we're in a good spot in Dickinson County. Yeah.
I see all these houses that have been built. Now, where do these people work?
Yeah, and keen on some of that too, though. You know, a year ago we're at Rosenboom, and they're at that time they could hire 75 more people, and they still haven't been able to do it. But the other issue is they prefer that these people aren't commuting 20 to 30 miles for a job. Was at Brown Medical here just 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I was interested to hear, I think Dr. Smith raised the question, but it sounds like most of their workforce is located in Dickinson County, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And we like that. But again, if they're gonna grow, you know, one way or the other, as businesses grow around here, we're attracting people from out of the county in. And yes, we gotta have places for them to live. And a variety. You know, we've got we're all going to benefit. We've got a multifamily thing going out here. We've got this other development, which by contrast, by the way, is going to be a much higher price point type of thing. So nothing wrong with that. We need different types of housing.
Yes.
But to the extent you're going to fill a niche for moderate entry level housing, this is the niche that can be filled. And this is our opportunity to fill it with this particular piece of vital property.
Yes, since these are slab houses, will there be a place for folks to go if there's a tornado coming?
Yes. So we put in a tornado shelter. So the company it's all steel construction. We build our garages a little bit deeper on the one side and we slide it in there. It's a 4 foot by 6 foot one. I did it in all of Maple Meadows. For 8 people at what it houses, it's FEMA rated for an F5. And so that takes out the safety issue right there. Yeah. Because I actually had one person wanted to buy the house. They didn't want it. They wanted to save it because it cost me about $5 grand, $5,200 to put those in. And he wanted to save the money and not do it. And I said, I wouldn't do it because 20 years from now, I'm not going to be the guy who said, to save a few bucks, we did this. And it's not the way. So all 25 of the Maple Meadows houses have the exact same one. And then I did 3 on Pinewood and 28th Street or whatever street it is, 29th Street. And we put 3 of them in there, same thing. Yeah. So safety is important.
Excellent.
Odds of it hitting, we never know.
But it only takes once.
Exactly. You see it all the time on TV, a whole street taken out, and that would be my luck. So
Where is this Southern Hills Board?
so it's go ahead.
No, so if you get, no. If you head down west on 36th Street or come down south on Sunder and turn and head east on 36th Street, it's where you see all of his excavating going on. Generally south and a little west of the water tower across 36th Street.
Okay.
So if you start at Hill and move west, that's phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 of Southern Hills. So it's all south of 36.
Okay.
And immediately east of Stover addition.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Any further questions? Okay.
Well, thank you. Appreciate your
Your
time.
Honor. Thank you. Well, this does say action on it. Does anyone wish to take action?
I'll make a motion to go from the 10-year to 15.
Thank you, Levi.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Further discussion? I suppose you should say what the motion is.
This is my first time. You have to walk me through it.
I just have it regarding the extension agreement between the city of Spirit Lake, Dickinson County and Spirit Lake School District for the Southern Hill 4 urban renewal area from 10 years to 15 years.
That sounds good to me.
Ditto.
Yeah,
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to increase the time on the TIF from 10 to 15 years. Levi?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
aye.
Mr. Feller?
Aye.
Okay. Kim?
Aye.
And Bill is aye.
After the meeting, I'll get that notarized and have Bill and Lori sign, and then I can email you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Great. And I
Thank you,
I anticipate the school will have it on their agenda for their next meetings.
Do you want me to just
We'll
give
go from
you,
there.
do you want me to give you their copies so you can get yours notarized and theirs, bring it to them?
Sure, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, next on our agenda is the Upper Des Moines annual update.
Good morning. I'm Julia Hertz, Executive Director, back again for another year. First of all, I want to start off with a thank you for last year's investment of $21,000. You will see that you had a high return on your investment. UDMO services provided in Dickinson County totaled $828,192. And this year we are requesting $25,000. Last year, I talked about that we had some goals to meet regarding our data systems. And we succeeded in meeting those goals. Our staff got to implement 2 systems. One was the state LIHEAP weatherization system. That had lots of bumps in the road. It's finally starting to be a little more functional for LIHEAP. Weatherization is still not up and running yet. They're using an old system that's pretty archaic. Then community action agencies purchased a data system that were able to produce unduplicated numbers, and that was our goal. So if you turn to the second page, this is information from our last fiscal year, which runs October 1, 2024 through September of this year. The first chart has households assisted, not individuals. These are households, so that can be different. The second chart has the value of that assistance. There are some asterisks by the years, pointing out in 2022 and 2023, those were our COVID years. More funding, lower limits, so more people could access services. In 2025, just want to remind you, these numbers are unduplicated. Field staff did a good job of learning 2 systems. Do I think that they entered everything perfectly? That every person through our door was counted? Probably not. But if you look at outreach, that's, as the governor says, that's the front door to services. If somebody is in need in your county, they know to go to outreach, and we are there to provide assistance and referrals to whatever agency there is. It could be the rides program, you know. We're most known for our food pantry, but we provide a lot of other services. Your $25,000 goes to outreach. It helps keep the doors open. It helps provide the services. And so you can look through the years. We started at 598 people through our doors, and this past year we counted 1,007 people. That was almost doubled from a few years ago. The numbers continue to go up. Our energy program is our LIHEAP program. Those numbers went down no matter what county you were in. Not as much money was available. Also, the average person received about $500 of assistance. So I want to break the myth that's out there that LIHEAP pays their energy costs. It does not. It's just a drop in the bucket for their, we all know, we have our weather, our utility bills to pay, and $500 really doesn't go that far. Housing, there is a statewide housing, so anybody who is homeless at risk of eviction, they should be calling the statewide number no matter what funding source you're using. And the state has regions set up. You call into the state number and they disperse it to the region lead. That is UDMO. We are the housing regional lead for this area. And then we can defer to programs that we run. Currently, we have 3 housing grants. One is for literally homeless, which means couch surfing, that they're living in a tent, living in a car, moving from place to place. We have homeless prevention. They're at risk of eviction. And so we have funds to assist with that. And then our newest grant, which will launch, it should have been launched now, but with government shutdown, it will be launched hopefully in January. This is a youth homeless grant, which sounds like youth. We don't need that. Well, we do. It's 18 to 24-year-olds, and it really helps them get started. It helps them find jobs. And that's important to our economic development, is addressing homelessness. And then our weatherization program, in order to qualify for that program, you have to apply for LIHEAP and be approved, and you have to own your home. And so you can see the numbers there. The second chart has the dollars. Probably the most important to you is outreach. For the 21,000 you invested for outreach alone, we put almost $500,000, little over $500,000 back out in services. For total, for UDMO, we put $828,192 back into Dickinson County for the services. Federal, state, and local funding went back in to your citizens of your county. Since supervisors always ask, who comes through your door? You know, those demographics. So there's a list on the bottom of that chart. 42% of the individuals were of working age. They were between 18 and 59. And that's an important number that supervisors usually want to know. 28% of them were children, 0 to 17. 29% of the individuals were 60 plus. 62 were veterans or active military, which is higher than most of the counties that we serve. 45% of the individuals that came through our door were employed. You have to remember, of that number, some of those were retired, some of them may have been veterans, and some of them may have had disabilities, or some of them may truly have been unemployed. So 26% of the individuals had a disability. And then 60% of the households in Dickinson County that came through our doors were a single parent, single person household, which is higher than most of our counties. But interestingly enough, 13% of those households were led by a female who was single. Usually that number is higher in most counties. I did put in there that 38% of the households own their own home, which means they could be eligible for weatherization. And then the bottom number, because SNAP has been in the news so much, I thought you'd be interested to know that 38% of the households UDMO serves are receiving SNAP benefits. Do you have any questions about the services we've provided in the last year?
Piqued my interest a little bit when you're talking about homeless, because that's become a big subject for us here in
Okay,
Dickinson County. We've heard a couple other agencies
sure,
approach us about funding for that.
yes.
Am I understanding correctly then, Julie, that we could actually direct some of that need towards Upper Des Moines?
We work in collaboration with others who provide housing. And as long as we don't duplicate services, but we have funds available. And in fact, we have some funds that we are trying to spend down, kind of thing. Otherwise, if we don't spend them down, we're going to send that money back.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure we use those funds. But then sometimes there are funding sources, and there are some neighboring counties that put money in there, that as long as we're filling that niche and they're not eligible for these programs, that's great. We support that.
But we should have you in the loop, I guess is what I'm thinking.
Yes.
Because we're
And-
hearing about this more and more.
And I think our housing director does meet with those, but we need to make sure we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
And the supervisors.
Because we're hearing from different agencies who have not actually
Yeah.
done a lot with that yet, and they want to fill that gap.
It would,
Seems to me that we should maybe be talking with you
talking
or
with
with-
my housing
with your
director.
house. Yeah, I'm talking about up in
Yes.
Des Moines
Yes,
as
agreed,
a start.
agreed. And we would welcome that conversation or to have all three of us
Yes,
up at once.
yes,
That would
even better,
be
even
all
better.
in the same room and you could ask your questions how
Awesome.
you desire.
That helps.
Yes, no, we would welcome that opportunity.
Well, I know I serve on as does Mr. Dellard, we go to the Hunger Coalition,
Yes.
and your work is tremendous. I mean, the need here continues to grow. And so your support is huge.
And it does in most counties
Yeah,
that have if their population is not decreasing,
the need is going up.
it is. And we all feel that in our own budgets. As you
We
go
do.
to the grocery store, fill your tank with gas, you know, your money just doesn't go as far. Things are tighter. And so if you're on a fixed income, any type of fixed income, you have to make priorities. So, yes. Yeah, we would welcome any opportunity to work together
Appreciate that.
and partner. So, any other questions?
Oh,
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
oh. Yeah, the approval of amendment number 3 for joint drainage district number 61, branch 399 west.
That was our conversation last week with approval of, not approval, but knowing that that cost is gonna get put to the landowners instead of it going to the pipeline. The natural pipeline. So what this is doing is just doing an amendment to adding on that 70,000. That would be at the end of the cost of what was approved back in September. So instead of that amount for that project being 450,000, it would be 520,000. And I got those mailed out yesterday, so we'll be having that public hearing on January 6th at 9 o'clock to discuss that with the landowners. To make sure that they're okay with that upcharge.
So is this for? No, you're asking for approval of that,
This amendment.
this amendment.
Yep,
Should
this
we
is
do
the
that before
amendment.
Public meeting or?
Well, that's why we're doing it today.
What?
Doing the amendment today so that we can have the public meeting, correct?
Yeah, he just wanted to have this amendment approved to put on the website for the landowners to review before the public hearing in January, which we set.
It's an informational amendment that will tell them why we're increasing the price.
And then they have the choice of approving or not approving.
Correct. So the
Correct.
previous report that was done in September that was approved was based off the 450,000. So now we're gonna have another public hearing with the amended report with the increase in cost, with that 70,000 added to add that culvert. So this is just an amendment for the landowners to be able to review with the new cost increase, with the cost per acre going up.
I would make a motion that we approve the amendment to Drainage District 61, branch 399 west for public.
Second.
Mr. Clark moves, Mr. Dillard seconds, further discussion. Hearing none, Mr. Clark,
Aye.
Mr. Dillard.
Aye.
Levi,
Aye.
Kim.
Aye.
And Bill is aye. Okay. Item numbers, well, we have no drainage claims this week, but we will next week, quite a few apparently. So we need to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve.
November 25th.
I'll second.
Kim moves, Mr. Dillard seconds, further discussion. Hearing none, Kim,
Aye.
Mr. Dillard.
Aye.
Mr. Clark.
Aye.
Levi.
Aye.
And Bill is aye. Okay. Next, county engineer, Mr. Rose.
Good morning, board. We have one item this morning, just approved request for repairs in DD 35 main ditch and hire a contractor next spring to use a long reach to complete the removal of the Beaver Dam. With an estimate cost less than $1,500.
I would make a motion that we approve that.
Okay, Mr. Clark moves,
I'll second.
Kim seconds, further discussion. Hearing none, Mr. Clark,
Aye.
Kim.
Aye.
Mr. Dollard,
Aye.
Levi.
Aye.
And Bill is aye.
That's all I have for today. Thank you.
Any trouble moving snow?
No, the guys are out, full Saturday and Sunday this weekend. We got everything cleared off.
No breakdown, or
No breakdowns.
the engineer didn't get stuck looking at roads?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Just my mailbox.
I know.
Still a little.
Thanks, Jeff.
It's just.
Yeah, item number 10, general discussion, board and committee report. Yes.
With Thanksgiving being last week, it was a fairly short week. We did have a follow-up courthouse safety meeting. We discussed security and continued discussions on contractors that are working after hours in the courthouse. I also last night attended the compensation board meeting from the group there. Thought it went well.
Very good. Mr. Dollard.
Yes, sir. I attended the safety and subcommittee meeting with Kim. And Tuesday I had, and later in the evening, I had my Upper Des Moines Zoom meeting. And she gives us an update on programs on a building that they're trying to acquire in Fort Dodge. And other building projects, as long as, you know, the budgetary stuff for the year. Thanksgiving Day, I went over and visited with the, to see how the Atlas thing was going at the church with, their Thanksgiving meal offering to the community, open to the community. And, I have been thinking about that we've had I've seen a whole lot of different stuff out in the community about people wanting to provide. One is wanting to provide transportation for meals to take them somewhere. Upper Des Moines, I don't know how many other facilities. And it just crosses my mind that how do we coordinate these? A lot of these things all on the same day at the same place. So it's something for future discussion. And then last night we all attended the comp board. And that's all I had.
Okay, that's fine. Mr. Clark.
A pretty quiet week, like Kim said, attended the comp board meeting. I did, spend a number of hours over the weekend, working on some pre-budget work. Made some phone calls for a item that will come up in the future. Other than that, it was pretty quiet around my house. I do have a question for everyone here. And I'm glad Jeff's still here. How many people are planning on attending the drainage district annual meeting this Friday?
I changed my mind. I'll have to plan on going.
You know,
This the one down
In Fort Dodge.
Fort Dodge, yeah, Friday morning at 8 o'clock.
I have those sheets in the office, Steve. If you would
Yeah.
like to fill one out, you could just give it right to Kristen for her to pay that.
Okay.
It's done by noon,
Yeah, it's done by noon. Well, 1 o'clock by the time.
if you stay for the buffet,
Yeah, so.
which I know Levi.
You're gonna be at that, Jeff? No.
I'll be at the Iowa County Engineers Convention.
Okay. Okay, so, well, I'm planning on going and,
It's educational.
are you going?
Mm-mm.
No, okay,
No,
okay. Well. If it works out, you know, a couple of us could ride in each car or something, you know, if there's nothing else going on, so.
I'm on my own, sorry.
Again,
Yeah,
you say that every
I
year,
go different places.
yeah. Okay, well,
It's just a pit stop.
you know, so, but limited to 2 per car, you know, so
Oh,
you know.
So don't break down.
yeah, just don't break down. So. Other than that.
Okay. Levi,
Last week I did help out at the Atlas Thanksgiving. We did a little bit of serving. Our church hosted it, so it was. My wife and I spent Thanksgiving with Atlas, and then I went to the comp board meeting on Monday with all of you last night. Thursday I have a DCAT ECI meeting in Hartley. They're each meeting separately, but back to back. And then I have a Northwest Iowa housing meeting in Spencer on the way home. I'm not sure how I'm gonna time all that up, but might have to be on Zoom on my phone in the car. And then I plan to attend the drainage meeting in Fort Dodge on Friday.
okay, very good. For me, just the comp board, what I did. Plus trying to figure out Christmas presents for my 18-year-old twins.
Good luck.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Cash.
Well, I do believe, not credit cards, but gift cards were on the list.
There you go.
Okay,
You know, it's interesting. I just read a deal the other day on gift cards, and of course. Companies love gift cards because a large percentage of them get stuck in a drawer and never used, so that's just profit. But they don't have that problem with the 26 and under.
mhm.
Those people, you know, they take a gift card and they go out and spend it right now.
Or anything from the crowd?
Just a reminder that we do not meet on the 30th,
But we meet on.
but we
this-
meet on the 2nd. That Friday, because it's a 5th Tuesday. But you always meet the first day after the holiday of the first year to appoint all of your positions and
That's
all that stuff. I'll remind you again when it gets closer.
Please do remind us. Anything else? If not, I would take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Dullard moves,
I'll second.
Mr. Clark seconds. Further discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Dullard,
Aye.
Mr. Clark,
Aye.
Levi.
Aye.
Kim.
Aye.
And Bill is aye. We are officially adjourned at 10:02. Have a good week, everyone.
Thank you, you too.